promised in the last 2 weeks, I'm finally about to tell you how much I spent on my 2 week trip in Seoul, what I did, kind of what was the reason behind the trip, and all the kind of useful information that you should kind of consider if you're planning to go to South Korea. So I think I would start kind of why I decided to go to Korea. So it's been like a couple of years, I think now, since I've been like really interested in Korean culture, because I read a couple of books which been inspired by Korean history and Korean culture. And reading about that, I think I read like 3 books which been kind of half based on real events and half made up fiction. And then I read, I think, another 3 or 4 books about like Korean history and Korean folklore, I would say. And obviously with the Korean dramas as well sneaking up to Netflix, I watched a couple of those. And then I discovered Korean Englishman, the YouTube channel, and seeing Josh and Ollie showing how is Korea, what's their lifestyle, the food, what you can do, how the whole country is totally different in compare with Europe and even with States. I was like, damn, I really want to go there. So it was, when was it, last year, probably after summer. I've been, as you know, my history with having depression and having meltdowns and feeling down and etc. I've kind of been starting again that circle, being depressed, etc. And I was like, okay, what else to do than book a trip that I can look forward to. It was beginning of November when I actually bought my flight tickets, and I remember that I had really shitty day at work. I remember I was crying in the morning, and then I was like, fuck it. So I remember that as well. I went for a walk, then I got back home, and then I was like, it was on lunch break, and then I was a bit like, you know what, fuck it. You've been thinking about it this whole time. You have money, which you put on a side for traveling. So, why not to do it? So I pulled the trigger and bought the tickets. Obviously, before I'm just buying the tickets randomly, I did quite lots of research. I was looking kind of when is the best to go to Korea. I kind of researched it, like April, May is usually good to go. And I kind of planned my holidays, etc. And I was like, you know what, May it's gonna be. Also, it's before the season, so the flight tickets are not as expensive like in the season, obviously. So I was like, you know what, that is a good sign. So in November I booked the tickets. I went for, as you know, if you watch my previous vlogs, I went for 2 weeks. So as I said, I went for 2 weeks, and I paid, I have here my, as you can see, my notes, because I don't remember everything. So I booked them in November, and I flew on 29th April and flew back on the 13th of May, so kind of like 14 days. And for the flight, which was from London Heathrow, Terminal 1, I believe, to Seoul Incheon Airport, Terminal 1 as well, and it cost me £827 and 34 pence, which is not too bad. Obviously, I flew economy class. I had 2 meals on a board and snack, with obviously unlimited beers or wine or beverages in general. I have to say the food was absolutely delicious. I think it was the first time I flew, and I flew quite a lot, and I flew in a premium business and in first class with British Airlines, and the food was nice there, but this economy class food was kind of on the same level. Obviously they had like 2 options. It was kind of like the westernized option and then Korean option. I always went for the Korean one. Duh. And no, honestly, it was the most delicious airplane food I've ever had. And then, as I said, I did research, so I was kind of checking how much is for food, how much is for like shopping in general. You know, I checked Olive Young because that was mainly what I wanted to go to get some skincare and makeup. So I went on their website because with my size, I was like, it's gonna be almost impossible to buy clothing in Korea. So that went straight away out of my list of interests. I was like, I'm not gonna be shopping for that. And so I kind of focus on like how much are the attractions, how much are the traveling if I want to take a trip out of Seoul, how much is like the subway cost, you know, the food in general and stuff like that. So my budget overall for this trip was £3,000, and I actually stayed under, which is quite nice. So yeah, so after I booked the flight, obviously I've been choosing between, am I gonna stay in Airbnb or I'm gonna get a hotel, or should I try hostel maybe as well, which is gonna help me because I traveled solo. So I was like, you know, am I gonna help me to make some friends, and it's gonna make the, you know, trip hopefully more fun. I decided instead of hotel to go for Airbnb. Again, depends on your preference, etc. I kind of decided to go a bit further from the central, because for me I was a bit like, you know, I don't mind if I need to spend 40 to 50 minutes on a subway to get there. So for me it was like, you know, I can still do my reading, so I'm gonna stay on my, you know, reading streak. And you know, it's kind of like what I do when I'm in London, just like take the subway. Plus subway in Korea is much nicer, it's much bigger, it doesn't stay full on aircon, and it's just a breeze to ride even in rush hour. So I kind of been looking more for like cheap options in Airbnb, and I found actually this great studio in probably gonna butcher it now, but it was in Yongdong-pogu area, which is south of the river. And it was about like literally, I think the furthest I took subway was like 55 minutes, and it was with the changes, but in general it was between like 30 to 40 minutes. And the closest station from my Airbnb is Guro Digital Complex. That's the line 2, it's the green one, and I found it was kind of like best for me because I had it exactly the same time if I want to go to Gangnam, which I went a few times, and then the same time to like Central or Myeongdong or any other kind of area which is trending and where you probably want to go if you're visiting Seoul. So I got that there. And also I was kind of like thinking when I was picking the Airbnb, right, I was like, you know, I can pay like double price or 3 times more, which essentially would be kind of still in my budget, or I would just, you know, put my budget a bit higher up, which is not an issue, and can be like in the central, kind of go everywhere. But then I was a bit like, you know, why would I do that? Because on the end of the day I'm just gonna be literally sleeping in there, and that's kind of what happened, right? So my Airbnb in total for 12 days, 13 days, I don't know how it's working very with the flights, but I think it's like 13 days. It was Sunday the 30th to Saturday the 13th, so 13 days essentially. Cost me £451 and 74p. It was perfect. Like I really enjoyed the location. I haven't felt like, you know, in danger or something that's gonna happen to me. It wasn't dodgy at all. It was like 1 minute from a station walk, which was nice. It was literally the subway station. You walk stairs down, walk maybe like a minute, and there was the apartment complex. Other great thing was there was like literally 3 convenience stores right in that area. So one was actually within the building on a ground floor. Another one was if you went like where is the garages opposite the road, so that was that. And then there was a third one that you literally walk not even 2 minutes. So very easy, you can get yourself a food, snacks. What I have to say, it's not very foreign friendly, so I was really glad that I knew like just the basics of Korean. that I can, you know, that I can ask for, like, because I needed my T-Money card. So that's a card that you need to use buses, subway, and I think other bits and bobs. I think you can pay maybe in convenience store with those cards, but I don't want to lie. And you know, just that I can actually ask for that in Korean really helped. Like, yeah, in that area it was like kind of lots of stuff to do. So there was like a stream under the subway station and subway tracks. So if you crossed it, there were like lots of restaurants. It was like lots of barbecue places, like some seafood as well. The one I've been with my friend was just focused on like John, which is the pancake, like different types, and makgeolli, and it was like really old one. We went there for barbecue as well, which was really nice. They were the photo booths that are very famous as well in Korea. I think there was like 2 or 3 Olive Young's, Daiso as well, you know, and just lots of bakeries and coffee shops. So it was a really good area because you had like, you know, on one side it was like very busy, and if you went there in the night it was like lots of people and there was really popping, and then when you're on the other side it was more calmer. You have like convenience stores, normal stores, you have like restaurants as well, but it was more like calm. So I really enjoyed that area and I can highly recommend it. And also that Airbnb for that money was a steal. It had like everything, as you saw in my previous vlog. If not, go check it out. And yeah, so these ones were kind of the main 2 payments which I did before, like, you know, before going to Korea. Then obviously you need to have as well your visa. I did the K-ETA or ETA, EAT, K-E-A-T, whatever you pronounce it, I don't care. And that was £6.83, which is super cheap. It's cheaper than the American ESTA, essentially, visa. So, and then obviously I got myself some cash. So I went to Korea with 1 million Korean wons, which is about £660. And I have to say that kind of lasted me the first week, maybe week and a bit actually. So pretty good. And I have to say I haven't really restricted myself at all. Like, if I wanted to buy this, I bought it. If I wanted to have a coffee, I got a coffee. You know, if I want to drink, I got drink. Like, there was really no restrictions from my side. And then other bits before I went to Korea, so I got myself actually SIM card, prepaid. They didn't do 2 weeks, so I got 3 weeks one, which cost me £35.55. I'm gonna put all the details down below where I booked my, you know, tickets and got my visa and etc. Maybe the Airbnb as well. I'm gonna hook that for you. I'm gonna share it with you. Then obviously I got already bought few attractions. So I did through Airbnb, I booked a Seoul pub crawl. I didn't cancel it because I was doing other stuff with my friends, but you know, it's fine, I got my money back. But if you want to do that, that was £15.39. I got my RX train from airport to Seoul Station, which cost me £4.59, again super cheap. I booked my DMZ trip. That was a half day in DMZ, and that cost me £40.10. And then I got kind of like a bundle, which was Lotte World and Aquarium, which cost me £30.19. And then I got Lotte Lotte World Tower, that was £15.40. I got Nanta tickets shows for me and for my friends. So 2 tickets to Nanta, which I saw the last night in Seoul, was £51.80. Then I also went to that Alphonse Mucha exhibition, that was £6.05. So, you know, like, it's not too expensive. Like, the thing is, because I live in London, I haven't really found the prices being like horrendous. Like, for the attractions, I thought like it's even cheaper than if you go to like London Eye, London Dungeons, you know, Buckingham Palace. Do you even can go to Buckingham Palace? I don't know, you know, London Bridge, shot, you know, I think it's kind of very similar or even cheaper, especially if you buy it in advance, which I highly recommend. The same, like if I compare how much I paying here when I go for night out in London and night out in Seoul, like you can't compare the same dinners. Like I think the most expensive dinner I paid, and that was not even Korean food, it was Italian because there was no other restaurants in that area, was £50. So, you know, it's like I went the other day with my sister, we went for Korean dinner, which was kind of like half of the food which I would get in Korea, and I paid 70 quid. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I haven't found it really to be too expensive or anything, and I made it with my budget. And the thing is, it's like even if you are on a budget, you can find better options. Like you can find much cheaper food, you know, you don't need to drink as I did. I've been drinking every single day, right? And you know, that's gonna put up in the total. So yeah, so this was so far like I paid before I went to Korea. Then so when I was in Korea, I had my 1 million won, which I was like, okay, I'm gonna be spending those, and from this money I essentially paid. So if I look for like food and drinks for that 2 weeks time, I think it was around like 750,000 won, and it was like I think I had like my budget was like 20,000 Korean won per day for like just like convenience store, which means like breakfast and coffee, and then if I'm gonna back home late and I'm still peckish and I want to get like, you know, some snacks, etc. So that was in that. And then the dinners and alcohol, you know, like I went to normal restaurants, I went to quite posh restaurants, I went to markets. I like when I went for that trip to Gangneung, we went to services, and again, like obviously services gonna be a bit more expensive, but again, I haven't really been looking like how much I spent, and I paid even for my friends, you know, to get coffee and get like snacks and etc. So yeah, so that was that. So even though it was like 750,000 Korean won, which would be roughly like, I would say £500, again, I don't think that's much for being there for 2 weeks and eating out every single meal or going for convenience. So like I haven't done any cooking besides making a pot noodles, right? So that was that. Then the additional cost was because I went for tattoo. I booked my tattoo ahead of the appointment. I think I paid like £30 deposit, and then I got a final price on top, which was 400,000 won, which is about like £246. Again, like for me, this was important. I was like, if I'm going to Korea, I'm gonna get the tattoo there, because Korea has one of the most incredible tattoo artists in the world. Like the precision, like the way they're doing the tattoo, like how clean it is. And it's quite paradox because most likely these tattoo places are illegal, because you need to have all these like medical licenses, etc., and it's still kind of gray area to have a tattoo studio in Korea. So like I wouldn't get that tattoo in that quality, with that speed, with that service in UK for that money. Yeah, that would not happen, right? So that was that. Then I went to a clinic. I got my Botox done actually, which it's now been months. You can I think it's still working fine, but they said it's gonna last 3 to 6 months, so we'll see. It's now a month and a half. Yeah, month and a half. But I got literally Botox here because I had a massive wrinkle, which I hated, and that cost me 54,000 won, which is about £33. Again, if I get it done by a professional, by a doctor who has the proper medical license and everything as it is in Korea, in UK I would probably pay like 300 for that, right? So again, but that's for the culture. That's because plastic surgery and cosmetic procedures are like normal in Korea, so obviously the price is down. But again, you know, like you don't need to get a tattoo, you don't need to get Botox, you don't need to do all this stuff while you're in Seoul. So that was like extras, right? Then in Olive Young, I think overall I spent like 350,000 Korean won. And again, I haven't been very strict with myself. Like I got lots of sunscreen, I got some makeup, even though I don't really wear makeup, but I was like, you know, I like it, I'm gonna buy it. I got lots of skincare, I got skincare for myself, I got some skincare for my sister as well, I got her some sunscreens too, you know. So it wasn't like, yeah, I haven't been restricting myself whatsoever. Then I went to Daiso. So Daiso is essentially kind of like a, maybe like a Poundland in UK, but like posh Poundland, right? So I was getting like chopsticks and soju glasses and face masks, and if I need to have just like, you know, I needed a bag, like a tote bag, I got that, you know. So bits and bobs in Daiso, and that cost me 60,000 won, which is like £37. Again, not as that much. I bought one clothing item actually, and that was in H&M. I bought a swimming suit because when we went for that trip, I was like, well, I need it. Like, are we gonna go to the sea, or there was a spa in the hotel? I was like, I didn't pack any swimming suit because I haven't really thought of it. So I went to H&M, got myself a swimsuit and this hair clip, and that again cost me 53,000 won, which is like £32. Then obviously I got some souvenirs as well, so I think in general I spent about like 50,000 Korean won, which is again like the 31 pounds, and I got like souvenirs for myself, for my family, for my friends, for my sister. So again, and I haven't been really looking into like, you know, I haven't been really looking into how much it costs. I just like, I like it, I'm gonna buy it, and that's it, right? And then obviously I paid some entrances as well. So when I went to Namsan Tower, that is 16,000 Korean won. Then I went to palaces. I went 3 palaces, but in one I was charged again, which is that was kind of my mistake, because when you go to the main palace, which I still can't pronounce, you have a main palace and then you have a folk museum right next to it, and there's a gate that you can go through. But then if you're trying to go back through the other gate, because this one's only one way, you need to repay the entrance. But that entrance was 3,000 Korean won, and the other palaces was only 1,000. So I spent like 11,000 Korean wons for that. Then I spent 1,000 for when I visited the royal domes. And then the last one was essentially the transport. I think on average I spent about like 70,000 Korean won for that 2 weeks. Not 100% sure, but again, like what I did, I usually took a subway to the destination, and then I walked a lot, because the great thing about Seoul, like if you planned it really well, you can literally do in one day so much sightseeing, and you literally can like hop from one to another. You can walk, obviously it's a hilly walk, so it's gonna be, you know, a bit challenging, but you can easily do it, right? And so that was that. So I think it was about like that 60-80, maybe a bit more, I don't know, I'm not 100% sure, to be fair, because I haven't really kept track on how much I'm putting on a card and on T-Money card. And I think I still have some money left. I think I maybe have like 10,000 Korean won on my T-Money card. I was in Korea, I took out about 60,000 Korean won, which is like 374. So that was like almost 1,000 pounds in cash, which I had available, and that lasted me. And then I spent on card payments about like 225 pounds, because some places, like I went to this, it's Olive Young, and there's a different, it's kind of like we have Boots and Superdrug, right? And they didn't accept cash. And then I had a couple other places which they've been like, oh yeah, we can't take cash, it's only cards. So I had to pay with my credit cards. So yeah, that was that. So the grand total for my whole trip was actually £2,738 and 44p. So, you know, I sit under my budget, which was 3,000. I haven't restricted myself at all. I had accommodation just for myself, a small tiny studio. I had it literally on the subway line, so easy transport myself anywhere. I shopped when I shopped, you know, I went to performances, I saw lots of sightseeing, I did the trip as well, you know. It's true, I didn't pay for the trip because my friend was driving, and then he booked the hotel. But then I was buying like all the snacks, you know, on the way, and dinner, and then we went like for drinks and stuff, and then obviously breakfast next day. So, you know, I did my I paid my fair bit as well. But yeah, I think like next time I go to Korea, which I definitely going, probably gonna be next year again. But next time I'm going, it's gonna be different situation, because like I know where to go, I know how it's working now, you know, I know like, okay, last time you wasted money on this, you already done it, you don't need to do it, you know. So yeah, I think definitely you can do South Korea with like lots of money, and literally just like spend it like right, left and center. There's the opportunities. I think if I'm the size when I can shop Korean clothing, that would be a different story. But in general, it was just, yeah, no, I had the best trip I could have, and I'm not regretting spending this money. And if you have like lower budget, then I'm sure you can do it as well. And also you don't need to go for 2 weeks, you can go in for a week. So obviously that's gonna then put your overall cost down. And I think the last thing which I want to mention, like, it's really handy to know just like a basic Korean, you know, how to say hi, hello, goodbye, thank you, excuse me, can I have this, can I have that, and maybe count 1 to 5, because I found it very useful, because especially in that area where I lived, because there was barely people speaking English. So I would recommend that. Also, like, download quite a few apps. I had Navier and Kakao Maps, because Google Maps kind of working, but Apple Maps no chance. Papago, as I said, for translating. Kakao Talk, that's how I booked my tattoo appointment, for example. So lots of people who have like small businesses will use Kakao Talk. So if you, for example, want to get your nails done, or maybe facial, which is like not in a big beauty clinic, then you will need Kakao Talk. What else? I think Klook, something like that, are the websites where I bought all my kind of tickets ahead before going to Seoul. And again, they have like lots of promotions all the time, and they have an app as well, so you're gonna have all your QR codes in there to access the attractions. So that was really handy. And what else I can recommend? Definitely check the Airbnbs. You can find literally steals in there, and then there's lots of activities as well. Like, I had few on my radar, you know what I mean, in case I was like, you know, if I'm not gonna make friends, and if I'm just gonna be there literally solo traveling, then I can do, like, for example, soju tasting. There's option that you can get like tour, like night tours, day tours, like someone can literally take pictures of you in hanbok. And what else? I think you can go for hike, etc. So yeah, definitely do your research. I think YouTube is really good source as well, and Instagram, TikTok, and yeah, just plan what you want to do, what's gonna make you happy. If you just want to go cafe hopping, there's plenty of opportunities for that. If you nerd like me about the history and stuff, then you're probably gonna appreciate all the palaces and museums and stuff. Like, I haven't really seen everything. Like, I made myself itinerary for the full 14 days, and I think I saw like half of it only, because, for example, the palaces, what I kind of read, and how long people on average spending time there was like maybe hour and a half. I was there like 3.5 hours, right? Because I need to read everything, I need to check everything, I need to just, you know, get the whole feeling in. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful for you. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna leave as much information down below for you as well. And if you're new here, please subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up as per usual, and I'll see you next week with more vlog style video as I do normally. Okie dokie, bye.